So, welcome to another Regents review session with your teacher, Mr. Novotny. This is the most recent Regents review Google form that I handed out to you guys. There were 5 questions on it, all involving word problems and linear functions. So I'll just go over the 5 of them. Feel free to comment on the video below. And here we go. So question 1 says, a cell phone company charges $60 per month for up to 1 gigabyte of data. So I'm going to just go ahead and underline key information in that first sentence. That's $60 a month. And you get 1 gig of data with that. Sorry, my cat and my dog followed me upstairs and they're just being annoying. Guys, stop. All right, anyway, it says the cost of additional data is 5 cents per megabyte, and it's going to tell us to let D represent the number of additional megabytes and C represent the total charges. Now, very important is that your variables match. C is going to be our total, and whatever we're buying is going to be equal to that total. So every one of these choices, 1, 2, 3, and 4, have C as the variable for our cost or our total charges. Now, as we look further into the problem, we see that we have a charge of $60 a month, and it's almost as if this is your flat rate. This is the charge that the company will automatically put on your account. No matter how much data you use, you have to pay $60 a month. It sounds like Verizon. Verizon's an expensive company. $60 a month is about what they charge. Now, being that it's a flat rate, it's just a constant, or it's just a number, if you will. All right, so as we dive back into this problem, it says in our second sentence, the cost of additional data is 5 cents per megabyte. And we're letting D represent this additional data that we're adding to our bill. Now, the rate here is 5 cents. And it's always going to be added on to your cost of 60. All right, so we have our flat rate plus our additional data, which is 5 cents per megabyte. All right, so if we match up our equation with our choices, we should see that the answer happens to be choice 4. All right, that makes perfect sense. On to our next question. The graph below was created by an employee at a gas station. Pretty smart employee, don't you think? It says, which statement can be justified by using the graph? Well, I'm going to look at the graph before I even look at the choices. All right, so to me, there's definitely points on here that represents numbers. Now, I see 2 very distinguishable points that fall on actual integer coordinate pairs, meaning the cost over the number of gallons is an actual number. So like this first point, 4.15, where 15 is the cost for 4 gallons of gas. Our next one that I see is 8 gallons of gas, double the 4, and it costs $30, which is double the 15. All right, so that's an equivalent fraction there. Now, the question is, what do these fractions reduce down to? Because right now they're improper fractions. So if I divide 4 into 15, I know that 4 goes in 3 times, and I have 3 remaining. So, in other words, 4 goes into 15 3 3/4 amount of times, which is also equivalent to 3.75. Now, this is very important. I've gotten a rate of 3.75. And now I'm talking about my cost in dollars over my gallons. So it's really a rate of $3.75 per gallon. Now, that's expensive gas. Right now, gas is like closing in on the $2 mark. It's been going down because nobody's driving a car. $3.75 is very, very expensive gas. Now, let's get to our answers. It says, which statement can be justified by using the graph? Well, one says if 10 gallons of gas was purchased, $35 was paid. Well, that to me looks to be false because 10 gallons of gas looks to be right about there, and it's higher than $35. Choice 2 says for every gallon of gas purchased, $3.75 was paid. Well, to me, that seems like, yeah, that is the actual rate per gallon. That would be right about here, actually. If you had 1 gallon of gas, we're going to say that's 3.75 or $3.75. So that looks about right. Let's just read the other two choices. For every 2 gallons of gas purchased, $5 was paid. Well, I really know right here that 2 gallons of gas costs more than $5 based on that point. So 3 is out. And 4 says if 0 gallons of gas were purchased, 0 miles were driven. Well, hold on one sec. Just because I didn't purchase any gallons of gas doesn't mean that I didn't have gas already in my tank. So it doesn't really have an effect on the miles that I drive yet. So choice 4 is ridiculous as well. Choice 2 happens to be our answer. And moving on. Question 3. A car leaves Albany, New York, and travels west towards Buffalo. All right, so if we look at the state, let's just draw this quickly. There's New York. Okay, Long Island's over here. And coming here. And there's New York. I know it's not the best drawing, but we're here in Albany, in our capital. And we're going west to Buffalo. Let's say Buffalo is right about there. We travel on I-90 west. And it says the equation D, guessing that stands for distance, is equal to 280 minus 59t. Can be used to represent the distance, yep, D, from Buffalo after t hours. So t stands for time and it's in hours. In this equation, the 59 represents the, well, let's see right here. 59, what number does that kind of resemble in terms of driving a car? Give me a minute to think. The speed limit, for the most part, in New York State is either 55 or 65 miles per hour, depending on what road you're on. This 59, I would say, definitely represents the speed of a car. Okay. Now, I just want to clarify what the 280 represents. So we look at our equation, and it says D equals 280 minus 59t. Now, D is distance. Well, let's say we just forgot about my 59t. The distance is equal to 280. Well, 280 represents the distance from Albany to Buffalo. It's 280 miles away. So to make that distance, or that trip, you have to travel 280 miles. Now, the 59 looks to represent the speed, like we were saying. Now, speed of 59 miles multiplied by the time will tell you that if you drive 59 miles for a certain amount of time, eventually you'll end up in Buffalo, which is 280 miles away. Now looking at that, 59t equals 280. Divide by 59 on both sides, and guess what? You'll wound up finding how much time it takes to actually travel to Buffalo. Now, 2 is the speed of the car. For extra credit, if anybody can tell me the time it takes to travel from Albany to Buffalo if you're traveling at a constant speed of 59 miles per hour, that would be great. Post in the comments below. All right? Okay. Let's try the next one. Question 4. It says the amount Mike gets paid weekly can be represented by the expression 2.5A plus 290, where A is the number of cell phone accessories he sells that week. What is the constant term in this expression and what does it represent? Well, a constant is another word for a number. And the only number I see without a variable is 290. So choice 1 and choice 2 can be eliminated. Now, 2.5A represents the accessories he sells multiplied by $2.50, which makes me think he gets paid an additional $2.50 for every accessory he sells. But Mike would be foolish to not get paid money guaranteed every week. Right? He wants a wage. The 290 should represent this guaranteed amount of money he gets paid each week. Nothing's going to change that 290. No variable is going to mess with it. So the variable is not attached to it, meaning it's just a number. It's the amount of money he's getting paid. All right, so choice 3. And lastly, question 5. It says the cost of airing a commercial on television is modeled by the function C of n equals 110n plus 900, where n is the number of times the commercial is aired. Based on this model, which statement is true? Well, to me, I automatically see another constant here, that $900 is going to be paid no matter what. And I also see that the 110 is multiplied by the number of times the commercial airs. Now, judging that this is money, it's $110 and $900. Now let's read our choices. 1 says the commercial costs $0 to produce and $110 per airing up to $900. Well, would it cost $0 for any commercial to be produced? No. Can't be answer. Cannot be the answer. You can't pay $0 for a commercial. It's going to cost you some type of money. Now we read 2. The commercial costs $110 to produce and $900 each time it is aired. Well, we just said that $900 is staying. It's not going to be changed at all. So to cost $900 each time it's aired, no, that doesn't make any sense either. So it looks like $110 is what you're paying each time it's aired. Let's read our next choice. It says the commercial costs $900 to produce and $110 each time it is aired. Well, there's our variable attached to the $110. And the constant of $900 is unchanged. Clearly choice 3 should be my answer. That's it. Those are the 5 questions. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you learned from it. Let me know in the comments below. See ya.